Warning: the following may contain dragon turtles.
Join fantasy authors Phil Tucker, Timandra Whitecastle, David Benem, Benedict Patrick, and Josiah Bancroft as they roll dice and take on the bad guys in a game of Dungeons and Dragons. 5 authors, 5 worlds, 1 adventure. It's time to get crit-faced. Previously on Crit-Faced, exploring the village of Barovia, the party is unsure as to how to proceed in this gloomy land. Hoping to find a friendly face, they decide to visit the town's tavern.
Okay. So we go to the central square, guys. You can so a couple of things you can see here in the central square of the village. There is a single shaft of bright light thrusting out into the main square from a building just to the north of you guys now, just to your right. And there's a sort of an askew sign. It's got an open doorway, and the sign that's hanging above it clearly proclaims it to be the Blood on the Vine Tavern. There's another light coming from a building just to the south of you, and you can see a sign on the door saying, it just reads, Bildrath's Mercantile. However, the door is closed, although there's light inside. You get the impression that it's not currently open for business as the night is drawing late. The crying noise is much closer now, and you feel that there's a smaller street just running off to the south of where you are, and you get the impression that's where the sobbing is coming from.
So do we go inside first, or do we check out the crying?
I feel like we have to check out.
Whoever's been crying has been crying a long time.
Yeah. It'd be rude for us to continue ignoring her at this point.
It's kind of weird that you can hear this crying throughout the entire village and no one gives a shit.
No one cares about the burning house either. It's a weird situation.
What's the plan, guys?
Or we go check out the crying person.
Yep.
Okay. So the moaning sob sort of floats through the streets, and it leads you just beside the mercantile. Actually, there's a dark 2-story townhouse, and the crying is clearly coming from inside here.
Not another house. I'm not going into another house. Let's go to the tavern.
From a room
outside?
From a room upstairs somewhere.
Can we call from outside? Like through a pebble? Yeah, exactly. Classic.
Yeah. Go for it.
Fireball at the window.
Don't go for that. What is it you'd like to do?
Throw a rock at the window. Boy, why are you crying in there? The privacy of your own home.
Shut up!
You're bothering the locals. Well, apparently not either. They don't seem to care, but...
So what are we doing?
we're gonna throw a pebble at the window, but I think we should approach it as a more of a "Are you all right, madam?" Let's be nice. Maybe Master Sona should take this.
Yeah, can you assume the persona of a romantic lead who's approaching the balcony of his forbidden love?
Roxanne. Sure.
Yeah, something. Okay. Let's all back away and give him some room.
Okay. Madam, you seem sad.
There's the crying continues. It doesn't change.
Can I have a larger rock? Do we have a larger rock? Something.
Cobblestone. I give him a cobblestone.
I take a quarter of a brick. No. I take a slightly larger stone and I cast it up to the window, and it makes a slightly louder clacking noise. And I say, "Madam, you seem quite distressed. Will you come out and tell me your sorrows?"
No, there's no response. The crying continues.
All right, so this one last thing I can do. I can pull the concertina and play a little song. Music soothes the savage beast. So I'm gonna pull out my concertina and I will play. What should I play? Any suggestions?
Monkey steals.
The monkey and whatever.
The monkey steals the master's hat. Yes.
Always a
Don't
crowd,
we know any
pleaser.
Right.
A romantic ballad or something?
Oh, a romantic
Wish the monkey
ballad.
steal the thought the monkey steals the master's heart was quite romantic.
Well, it's romantic in a way, but I wouldn't call it like purely romantic. I don't know any romantic ballads off the top of my head. I'll have to go with the lady's girdle.
Yep.
So I begin to play my concertina. I think I'm doing a pretty good job with this performance, and obviously the window opens.
No, there's no response from whoever's inside. The crying continues.
She's obviously deaf and not a music lover, so
she's beyond any help.
Yeah,
let's go to the bar.
We can't do anything.
I think
Just
we've
have to
established
deal with
that
it.
we no longer go into houses, right?
Yeah, no.
Not unless we're like completely healed up. I am not healed up.
Is a tavern considered like a house?
Yes, but we can make an exception by checking out the common
I
room
don't-
before we actually enter the house, for example.
According to our group's new mission statement, I don't think we can go in. We're going to have to perform every adventure from outside from now on.
I will take one for the team here, and I will go into the tavern on my own and report back in 5 to 6 hours whether it's safe.
Well, you can't
All right.
because I have the money.
Oh,
Oh,
He does have a fine set of silver from the Durst.
oh, that's right. I do have my set of silver. That should buy a flagon or two. I tell you what, I'm going to go into the tavern. I feel that I have earned myself a pleasant dinner and perhaps a libation. Would you care to join me, friends?
I do agree that we
I'll
should
go
maybe
with-
go
Oh.
into the tavern.
All
Probably.
right.
Hopefully there will be someone here who can make sense of this weird place.
And McRag, I'm buying the first round. When you dragged me out of that horrible house, that's something I'm not going to forget anytime soon. So I'll buy the first round.
I got some of my odor on you.
You know, I used to think it was heinous, but now it's sort of a pleasant musk. You know, I think something about it has become more charming.
Okay, so we
called
head over
Stockholm
to
Syndrome.
Ide Stockholm. So we go over to the tavern.
Okay. Guys, so we head inside. You get the impression the tavern has seen better days. Currently, once was a finely appointed establishment, but it's obviously grown shoddy over the years. There is a blazing fire here in the hearth, but it doesn't seem to give much warmth to the overall ambience of the room. There are a few huddled souls inside, however. We do have the barkeep polishing glasses over at the bar. There's a man sitting in a corner drinking wine by himself. He's got blonde hair and he's wearing a green waist jacket. And probably most of note is there's 3 women, 3 dark-haired women sitting, almost lounging, quite close to the fire hearth. They're all wearing quite heavy makeup, but heavy makeup applied well. Particularly their red lips stand out, and a very colourful clothing that they're all wearing.
How this seems a fine place, doesn't it? This is the place that warms a man's soul. These are my people, I feel. I'll buy the first round. Let me just have a couple of those coins, if you don't mind. I don't know if they take knives and spoons here.
So we approach the barkeep and ask whether he has rooms maybe to let for the night.
So the barkeep is polishing his glass. He's sort of a pudgy little man, sort of balding, and he looks up at you, and his gaze, his eyes just sort of barely seem to register you, and you realise he's still polishing the glasses as he speaks, and he says, "We do not normally let rooms. I have a shed in the back. You can sleep in the hay." And he goes back to polishing his glass.
There's no place we could stay for the night? Except for the shed?
Yes, the shed. You stay in the hay. Yes.
My good
what's
sir.
your food look like?
Good enough for Jesus.
Hold on. let me.
Who?
If I may, Master Sama.
Please go ahead.
I belly up to the bar and I look at him and I say, my good man, you are looking upon people of quality, people of distinction, and who are used to a better fare than hay and sheds. I would advise you to treat us well, and in return, your demesne here will be finely recompensed with our patronage. Now, what say we start again, and you show us some of your finest rooms? And if I may roll a persuasion roll?
Yeah.
It's my highest skill. Yeah. Plus 15. No, plus 5. 17.
Yeah, and he all the time you've been talking, he's been looking at you, and his face, the emotion on his face hasn't changed. It's just vacant, almost in a way. He glances over at the women at the hearth, and then back to you, and he says, "Yes, but we only have shed." And he sort of shakes his head. It's almost as if he's lost with the situation. Behind you, one of the dark-haired women shouts out. She sort of raises her hand. You get the impression she's a bit annoyed at the fact that she's having to speak. She goes, "The fool is right. We only have shed to speak then."
I turn to regard these ladies.
Okay. So all three of them, they're in their sort of 30s, you reckon? All quite attractive. You can tell that they are all seemingly irritated by having to speak to you, and they're just all eyeballing Lord Talford in particular at the moment.
I belly up to their table, and I say, "Well, look at these remarkably attractive young fillies."
You are the
I
worst.
smooth my moustache as I continue to try and be charming.
Oh my God.
Say, my friends and I have recently arrived in town, and we are looking to appreciate the finest that Barovia has to offer. And as such, we would appreciate it if you would be a little more hospitable. After all, the happier we are, the more coin that we will spend. And perhaps we may be convinced to even buy the three of you the finest beverages this tavern has to offer. Are you in your persuasion roll?
You can.
1.
Yeah. So they. The one who addressed you, sort of a wry half smile sort of forms at the side of her face, and she goes, "If you're looking for the finest things, you have come to the wrong town, and you cannot ply me by offering to buy me wine from my own establishment. The fool speaks the truth. Here we sell wine, no rooms. There are no rooms for you. He offers you the shed. It is the only room we have. Other than that, take the wine or leave. It is no matter to me."
So you only
What
have
about the
wine?
Durst house? Do you think we could stay there? I ask her rather belligerently.
I would not recommend it.
Well, perhaps because we saw it on fire, you're right. It seems to have been burning.
So one of the others sort of double takes when you say that. And then all three of them burst out laughing.
They what, sorry?
What?
"Oh, you poor fools! You set the house on fire. Well done. It's very good. We're all very proud of you. You honestly are not the first people to have done that. Oh no."
Oh. I think she's making light of you.
Well, what if I set this tavern on fire? I back away from the three of them rather nonplussed, and I return to the group and I say, apparently the Durst house is rather impervious to flame.
Well, Lord Tarvin, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but when I observed your performance there, the word that leapt to mind was not charming. I feel like perhaps we could.
The trick, Mallarmé, I put my arm around his shoulders, is you have to not be too accessible. You have to remove yourself a little bit, add a little lordly mien, so that they feel impelled to come after you. You don't throw yourself upon them like a mink stole.
You have something in your beard. It's quite pronounced, and it's not pleasant. And I think that's what they were focused upon. It's
chin. Here, Mallarmé, a gold coin. I take it from Master Sumner, I suppose.
It's the one that the hand threw back at you.
Yes, a gold coin wagers that you cannot get them to be more congenial.
I will take that bet. I'll take that bet. So, what?
Go see if she'll offer you her pie.
What? Master Suna, if you would like to take the next shot, you can as well. You can go over there and see if you can get some information from her.
So, what my esteemed colleagues are trying to do here is that we are travelers from distant lands, and we have come to this place. We have no knowledge or information of it. All we want to do is spend the night to rest up a bit, eat something, drink something, and preferably not in a shed. Where can we do this if not in this tavern? Give me an address.
Do you want to take a persuasion check, but take it with disadvantage because of your association with Lord Talfrin?
She stands in my shadow.
How much?
So disadvantage is you roll twice and you have to take the lowest score.
Oh, okay. 6.
6. And she turns and just again looks disdainfully at you, and she says, "I do not care about your problems, traveler. We have many travelers here. You come one day, you will disappear soon, like all the others. Here we sell wine. You may sit, be warm. We have no rooms." But
where is a room?
Yes, there are many houses out there. Knock on some doors. I care not. You have wasted me and my sister's time too much already.
All right, so I think everyone's had a chance, and now it's time to watch a master at work. Madam, I feel my friends lack.
I'm having to endure this one more time.
Well, I would like to apologize on behalf of my friends who lack a certain amount of grace. I would first like to say this is a magnificent space. I have been in many taverns, but none quite so welcoming and homey as this one. And I just want to compliment you upon it and ask you just a very small favor. May I please play a song for you as a small token of thanks and gratitude?
Do you want to take a persuasion check again with disadvantage, please?
Okay. All right, here we go. This is the one.
You're welcome.
18 was the first one. And the second one was 2.
She doesn't.
She's going to throw us out.
Yeah, she looks at you, then looks back to the barkeep, and she says, "Arik, deal with these, please," and then turns back to chat with her sisters.
I think you're up, McRag. Put on your.
So the barkeep, still polishing his glasses, hesitates and then moves around the bar and stands in front of you, and then he sort of shrugs as if he's not too sure what it is he's supposed to be doing, but he'd really like you to get away from his boss.
Well, I'm leaving this establishment. This is an outrage.
The blonde man in the green waistcoat coughs from the corner, and he raises his hand when you look at him, and he beckons you over.
I say we go join him.
Yeah, sure. Can we
Tough
at least
crowd.
ask for some wine or something? This is apparently a tavern still.
Are you speaking in character, or are you?
Well, what I would say to the man in front of me is I would say, look, I'm sorry, we have obviously got off with the wrong foot. We are overly friendly, but strangers to your customs. We would just ask for 4 glasses of your finest vintage, and we will go sit ourselves away from your masters.
As if he overheard you, the blonde man who was beckoning you over, he sort of raises his voice and he says, "Arik, bring them to me and a pitcher of wine. They will be my guests at this table tonight."
Yes, well, thank you, sir.
So you can see that the barkeep almost seems relieved at the fact that the situation seems to have been resolved without him having to do anything, and he hobbles away to the bar and gets a pitcher of wine and brings it to your table. Meanwhile, the sort of man gestures at the seats and lets you pull your seats around and says, "Welcome, travelers. My name is Ismark.
Bismarck?
Is Ismark? Yes,
Ismark.
And am I to believe that you are just recently arrived in Barovia?"
We have just recently arrived, and so far we've enjoyed everything we've seen of this fine town. And thank you for your hospitality. I'll introduce myself. I am Jean Marlemay. I am quite well known. I'm sure you've heard of me. And these are my friends, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Master Sunna, and I'm not amused.
She's a tough cookie.
Lord Talfrin Blackoak at your service.
He's a hard sausage.
What?
I'm Kellen McRag, and then I bang my axe on the floor, and I demand ale.
So Ismark sort of smiles and he says, I have heard many rumors of this ale, but unfortunately here in Barovia we drink only wine. It does well. It helps take the edge off life here, but that's unfortunately all we have to offer you. Please allow me to introduce myself fully. I am Ismark Koljanovich. I am the son of the burgomaster of this pathetic excuse for a village. Am I to believe that you are? And he looks around and then leans in a little bit. You are not from around here.
That is correct.
And he sort of leans back
and
in his
we really
seat.
want to get away from
he leans back in his seat and he nods, seeming a wee bit smug of himself, and he said, "Yes, it is as I suspected. This is not the first time that the devil has done this to poor innocents from outside of this land."
The devil called Strahd?
Devil.
Yes.
The one who's responsible for the Durst House?
The Durst, he's responsible for everything you see here before you. He is responsible for the empty homes. He is responsible for the look of fear that children wake with having this look of fear on their faces. He is the one responsible for those people and how they swan around the town like this. And he nods over at the women over by the hearth.
Does he have anything to do with the dream pastries? Is that?
He looks very serious for a second, and he says, "What do you know of the dream pastries?"
Well, I know that the person who sells them is very particular about where you eat them. She would not let me consume it in front of her, which I took as being a suspicious thing.
He said, and he leans in again, looks very serious. He says, "The person who sells them is completely evil. Do not trust her at all.
Yes.
Do not trust her at all, and walk away when you see her."
Will do. All right. Well, that answers one question. I think we escaped that fate.
Do you know if this lady has magical powers of some sort? Or is more than human?
She certainly is not human, yes. We are the village is smaller than it seems. We do not have, a lot of the buildings here are unoccupied, but many of those buildings, the occupants have disappeared after being visited by her. Sometimes it is not everyone in the building. Sometimes it is just the children.
Oh, well, that's lovely.
The sound grows all the more charming.
Yes. Do you know anything about there was a particularly weepy house nearby? Do you know anything about the occupants there?
Yes. Oh, we cannot stop her. That is Mary. We call her Mad Mary now for her daughter. She has lost her daughter. It is not unusual. It is not an unusual thing to happen. She will eventually get over it, or the grief will kill her, and we will be able to get on without the sound of her.
But you wouldn't consider her to be a particularly evil person, perchance?
No, I believe she's just been driven mad with grief at what the devil has done.
He's
what
quite
did
helpful.
The devil do, sir?
Well, he has stolen her daughter. It is,
and why has no one risen up against this Strahd and deposed of him if he is so terrible?
And he laughs, and you just get a look of complete sadness in his face as he does so. And he takes a glass of wine and he necks it, and he pours himself another one, and he says, "Oh, we have tried many times. People have tried, but it ends in failure every time, and the punishment is worse and worse." And the village, as you see it now, nobody is here, and we have never recovered since the last time somebody arrived to encourage the people of the village to rise up against Strahd.
Well, how recent was that?
I was but a boy. It was 10 years ago, the last time someone like you convinced people to take arms against the devil.
Mm. The women who run this establishment.
And he looks, his eyes dart over to them again as you say that, and you can see a look of resentment in them as well.
So are they from here, or are they also travellers?
No, they are not from Barovia, but neither are they travellers like you. They are Vistani, and he looks at you to see if there's any recognition in your faces. They are his creatures. They come and go as they please, but they do act in the devil's service. Do not trust any of them.
Are they vampires?
No,
They
are just people. They are just people who have sold their souls. They move through Barovia, they move to other realms, they move to other lands, and come back here when they see fit or when their master summons them.
Mm.
Well, the most important question, how do we return to our homes?
And he laughs again, and he shakes his head. And he takes a while, just contemplating his drink before looking at you and says, I knew what you were when you came here. I knew you were travelers from outside of Barovia. You are not the first to have been drawn here. But what I can tell you is that every single soul that I have seen that has come from outside of the lands, and every single soul that my father saw, and his father before him, none of them survived their experience in Barovia. I am afraid, friends, you poor souls, someday you will just not return. You will disappear, and eventually new travelers will be brought to this land to entertain the devil until he is done with you. I think we will leave it tonight at that.
I'm spooked.
That wasn't going well at all.
Well, what has gone well is because you guys have completed that little escapade in the house, you guys have actually leveled up to 3rd level. Woo!
Hey, things are going well.
Crit-Faced is a weekly Dungeons & Dragons podcast. To make sure you never miss an episode, and to get an exclusive prequel episode of the podcast, where you can find out what our characters were up to before this adventure began, head over to critfacedpodcast.com and join our Crit-Faced fan group.